Good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to come into your homes today. In the spring of 1988, as I was approaching the first anniversary of my ministry, I had the opportunity to study with Dr. Elizabeth Ochtermeyer at the College of Preachers in Washington, D.C. During my theological studies, I acquired every one of her published books and read them with great interest. This was a scholar that I admired deeply, and this will be the first opportunity for me to meet her and to study with her for a week in D.C. That week was one that was incredibly enriching for me as I developed a friendship with someone I deeply admired. And it also afforded me the opportunity to give her a ride back home to Richmond, Virginia. She had found a car service that would take her from Richmond to D.C. for the teaching for that week, and I was so privileged that she accepted my invitation for me to give her a ride home. During that car ride, I learned much about Dr. Elizabeth Ochtermeyer, and I want to share with you today a story she shared with me there in that car ride, a story of when she first began teaching in a theological seminary shortly after she received her Ph.D. in Old Testament. As she was beginning her teaching career, she reached out to a number of the seasoned professors, asking them for mentoring and for help as she began to find her own way as a professor of a distinguished theological seminary. One person that she approached said that he had no time for her. He was busy writing an important book. And besides, he said to Elizabeth, "You are just a girl in a man's profession." Some years later, she learned that he was dying, and she visited him in the hospital. When she walked into his room, she saw that he was in a coma. There were tubes coming out of his nose and out of his arms, and standing with him was his wife. And right in front of his hospital bed was a table with 4 books on them. Dr. Ochtermeyer asked the wife about the 4 books, and she said, "He spent most of his professional career researching, writing, and publishing these 4 books. It was the love of his life. He gave almost all of his attention to writing these books. I thought it would comfort him if he came out of the coma to be able to look and see the summation of his whole life." Dr. Ochtermeyer said to herself, "This is so sad that everything that was important to him, right there on that table, 4 books." Friends, the question for all of us to ask today is, what do we want to leave behind on the table when we die? My hope is that my children will know that I loved Jesus Christ and that I spent time with God every day, reading the Bible, reading helpful devotional materials, and praying for them, praying for my wife, praying for my friends, praying for this congregation. What I want to leave on the table when I die is for my children to know that I loved Jesus Christ and I spent time with Christ every single day. I also want my friends and my wife and my children to know that I loved deeply every one of my relationships. I always take the time to listen to my children, to listen to my wife, to listen to my friends, to take long walks when I'm able to, just to invest myself in their lives so that they know that I care deeply about them. Particularly when people are broken. I've given up a long time ago the idea that I can help people when they are broken, fix their lives. I cannot fix brokenness, but I can share with people that I will be there with them and walk with them as they walk through the brokenness of their life, reminding them that Jesus Christ is the divine physician. So friends, I ask you again, think deeply about what you want to leave behind on the table when you die. Dr. Ochtermeyer looked at this man who was now dying and thought how sad that his entire preoccupation during his profession was to research and to write and to publish 4 books. That is what he was leaving behind on the table. What will you leave behind? I look forward to being with you this Sunday morning in worship. Thank you.